I am so tired of coming on this podcast every single week and telling you to stop playing T.Y. Hilton. Like, just stop it.
Mikey needs help.
Mikey needs help.
I was like, if you don't have Jeff Wilson in here, and if you don't run it on first down, I'm going to strangle you through that TV.
You should know better than everyone else. That fool tears you up when you plays you.
Yeah, but
Don't you want him on your team?
I have him at number 25.
Thank you. Fine. Todd's the reasonable one on this show.
I take issue with everything he said there.
Well,
I really do.
DeAndre Swift. He's going to break them tackles, son.
That's bold. That's bold. That's putting your nuts on the table right there.
Hey, there's the first time for everything.
Waxing poetic over here with Todd Diamond.
Dude's old.
So what? He's not as old as Brady, and you're jerking him off before the show starts.
I have Sutton in my top 10. I have him at number 9. Yes.
You know what? I'm just canceling the league. I can't do this with you guys. How to open up this show? I guess I could start with the my rear end. You guys want to talk about that here on the show? Little sore after the butt whipping I got from Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce on Monday night. Kind of sitting on a donut pillow right now. That's how raw it is. 98 points between the two. Frustrating at first, comical after a while, but that's fantasy football for you. What's up, MHA owners? Thanks for tuning in to the MHA podcast. Mikey Renault, Todd Diamond, Eric Lansing here. Guys, I could use some cream to rub down my cheeks after the spanking I took last night. How fun was that?
Oh,
pretty good for Mikey, I think.
Yeah, Mikey was having a good time. He was smiling the whole time. I was like, not cool.
Listen, I wasn't smiling the whole time. At halftime, I only had 95 points, and I was still down like 48, I think. I was nervous whether or not I was showing it or not. But, yeah, that third quarter, the beginning of the fourth, man, it got wiped away quick.
Look, and we were joking about this last night, but I'm no scout. I'm no head coach. But what I do know, if you want to have a chance to win a game, cover Travis Kelce. Jeez, for crying out loud. Like, it's not rocket science, right? There's a Toddism for you. It's not rocket science or brain surgery. It's
there you go.
Cover Travis Kelce and let those idiots around him that can't catch. We saw how many drops did we see by those idiots last night? It just seems like it's easy, but maybe he's just that good. Maybe Patrick Mahomes is that good. Maybe the play calling by Andy Reid is that good. But, yep. Mikey asked me at one point how comfortable I was feeling. I think it was in the beginning of the second quarter. And they hadn't really gotten going yet. There was a couple 3-and-outs by Raiders. It looked like they were going to get to Mahomes all night. And Crosby had a couple sacks. Like, oh, this is perfect. And then, like a flash of lightning, the offense came alive. And what a performance. Todd, how many points did you have as a team?
67 points.
Oh, Mahomes almost had that by himself.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, there you have it. A lot to talk about here on Week 5 recap. Let's get into some news and notes.
Well, this reporter was possibly a little hasty earlier. Would like to reaffirm his allegiance to this country and its human president. May not be perfect, but it's still the best government we have. For now.
One thing that affected yours truly a little bit, Rashad Penny, broken tibia, and he is out for the season, thus prompting the trade between the Lemonheads and the Butterfingers. Of course, if you haven't seen it yet, trade between some trade talk during the football game last night. Eric Lansing in desperate need now with Mr. Penny out for the season. Trading off Chris Godwin and Mr. Henderson from the Rams, Mr. Darrell Henderson from the Rams for Keenan Allen, who has been hurt pretty much this whole season, dealing with a hamstring injury, and then sending off Kenneth Walker, who is the incumbent over there in Seattle. Mikey, I can't ask Todd what he thinks about this trade, because obviously, you were there. You saw it go down. What are your thoughts on this trade? Even Steven, based on the GIF you sent us? Not a lot of changes for each team. both the wide receivers has dealt with hamstring issues in the past.
Yeah, both. I think that Kenneth Walker probably has more upside than Daryl Henderson does at this point because him being a young rookie, you kind of know he's like the next up. Like you thought Daryl Henderson was like the starter, but then this week they kind of started shifting more towards Cam Akers. So, man, I don't know about that. Like all things relative, if both Keenan Allen and Chris Godwin are healthy, they're relatively close. I don't know how much this helps Todd's team. Todd has a lot of other problems. I don't know that this necessarily addresses it.
Todd, did you want to say something? It sounded like you wanted to say something.
I mean,
Famous last words.
here's the ultimately Najee Harris has got to figure his shit out. That's ultimately going.
We'll get to Najee later.
But here's the thing: Keenan Allen was just not doing anything, just sitting on my bench, just not doing anything. Obviously because of injury. But Godwin, at least, again, that's still. I mean, obviously, I know Mike Evans right now at the present moment is Tom Brady's, number one target, but I still think he'll still go to Godwin a lot more, and at least Godwin upgrades. I mean, Garrett Wilson's has been okay. He had that one good week, but consistency. We always talk about that word, whether it's reality or fantasy, but consistency, and he just hasn't been there. And obviously, the Jerry Judy, kind of Mikey said this too. Going to go down, may or may not go down with the sinking ship, but I'm going to stick with him. But at least if I have Godwin, as my, instead of Wilson, that at least gives me a little bit, it makes me a little bit more comfortable. I feel a little bit more comfortable, that going forward.
Yeah, there's probably some immediacy to Chris Godwin compared to Keenan Allen. Walker has the upside. I know Henderson I don't think he even got a carry last week, but it's not like Cam Akers did much. I mean, obviously that whole Rams offense has been stank of late. But I think there's still a lot to be determined over in Los Angeles in that running game and so forth. So things could end up panning out for Henderson as well. Continuing on with the news here, just some injury news. Damian Harris injured very early in their match with the Lions. Another hamstring injury could miss multiple weeks. Been reported that Russell Wilson's dealing with a torn lat muscle. I'm not sure if that's what's giving him the problems in terms of what we've seen so far, but he's expected to play here with this Monday night. Mikey can to attest T. Higgins, who came into the Sunday night game with an ankle injury, may have re-aggravated it and left that contest early. Cowboys tight end Dalton Schultz left his game early due to a knee issue. Rookie QB and third string Dolphins quarterback Skylar Thompson saw some action this season, his first of the year. Of course, another head injury to a Dolphins quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, left that game early. Rookie sensation Chris Olave scored a touchdown and suffered a concussion in the same play. He left the game early, and Pittsburgh tight end Pat Freiermuth also suffered a concussion, ruled out for the rest of the game against the Bills. I think those are the major ones. I don't know if I missed anything, but yeah, it's kind of how it works here as we go along in the season. Injuries, you got to have backup plans. And if you look at Aaron's team, he's got a couple of backup plans on his roster if things continue to go. Okay, Todd.
I was going to say one more thing, and I don't know if this is going to happen, if it would make his stock even more. But there are whispers that Christian McCaffrey might get traded, and one of the teams that's interested is Buffalo. So going to if you just say for grins he gets traded to Buffalo, I mean, wow. I mean I think he would elevate him, back to where he was, in his first few seasons, and especially in fantasy.
We'll talk about that if it happens. I think,
okay,
and I think you're jumping the gun on that, at least in my opinion, because he's going to be utilized less. He's going to have less scoring opportunities because Josh Allen is incredible. and he'll score his rushing touchdowns and throw touchdowns as wide receivers. And I don't know. I think with injuries, but we'll talk about that if it occurs. But yeah, I mean, there's that. Of course, DJ Moore is someone out there who's not reaping any kind of benefits from the quarterback play out there. He could be traded, so we'll keep an eye on all that and talk about it when if and when those trades go down. All right, you guys ready for some MHA trivia?
Time to play the game. Time to play the game.
Yeah, ready to go.
Yeah, you are.
Heck yeah. Let's go.
Todd's ready to make it 2 weeks in a row, huh?
Heck yeah. Shots. Let's go.
All right. Wow. You didn't take any shots last night. I wish I would have. We're gonna play some Family Feud. You guys ready for some Family Feud? You guys remember how to play the feud?
Yeah. Yep.
Kinda. We'll see how it goes along. I'll give you how many answers are on the board. I ask you a question. You say your name to buzz in. Depending on if you get the highest, or I guess if you get it right, you can decide to play and try to answer the rest of the questions, or you can pass and make the other person try to answer the questions. But if they get them all right, they win the round. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
All right. So here we go. We have currently 3 different games, or 3 different questions, I should say. And we'll start with question number 1. There are 5 answers on the board, gentlemen, and no cheating. But there are 5 answers on the board. Name me one of the top 5 scoring quarterbacks in our league.
Ding.
Sure, but let's say your names, because
Okay, sorry.
that's all right. All right, so Ding, Todd.
All right. Josh Allen.
All right, that is correct. And fast Josh Allen is the number 1 answer on the board with 303 points. So Todd, there are 4 more answers on the board. You can decide to play, or you can send it over to Mikey to see if he can figure out the last 4.
Play.
All right, Todd is going to play. So you got Josh Allen. Give me another one. You have 3 strikes, and then we send it over to Mikey with ever. And he only needs to get 1 after that. So go ahead.
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff. Oh, I am sorry. That is incorrect. After a abysmal week, going through, looks like he is 12th in the league in scoring. So that is 1 strike for Todd Diamond. Give me another quarterback.
Let's go with Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson is correct. He is 5th on the list. Having a good season, 242 points, 374 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 12 touchdowns, 5 picks. So you got 2 so far, 3 to go. Give me another one.
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. Well, I think he's got to be after his crazy output last night. He is 2nd on the board with 274 points, 15 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, close to 1,400 yards passing. Good job, Todd. 2 more answers on the board. Give me another one.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Is he one of the top 5? No, I'm sorry. He is not. He is actually, looks like 5, 6, 7th with 241 points. He's got 6 rushing touchdowns and 4 passing touchdowns. That's 2 strikes, Todd. 1 more strike. I go over to Mikey to see if he can get 1, but you still have a chance here. Give me another quarterback.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, not in the top 5. He's actually after Jalen Hurts with 233 points. That is 3 strikes. We go to Mikey. All I need is 1 of the 2 for you to win this round, Miguel.
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert is correct. He is 4th with 245 points. He's got close to 1,500 yards passing, 10 touchdowns and 2 picks. The one we are missing is Kyler Murray, 247 points, just 133 rush yards, a little shorter, or I guess not as many rushing yards as I figured, but he's got 1,200 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 2 rushing touchdowns. So Mikey takes the first round. Congratulations, Mikey. All right, we go over to the next question. Top 5 answers on the board. Name the top 5 scoring running backs this season. Wow, slow to the button there, gentlemen.
I'll say Mikey.
All right, Mikey, go ahead.
All right. I'll say Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley is number 3. Mikey gets the first round, gets Saquon off the board. Still 4 left. Barkley, 533 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, 18 receptions, and 143 yards. Give me another one. Oh, Mikey, do you want to play or do you want to pass?
I'll pass.
Over to Todd. So Todd, give me another running back. Top 5 scoring running backs in our league.
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook. No, I'm sorry. He is far from the top 5. In fact, if I'm going through 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14th in our league with 63 points, not having a normal season, even though he's played in every game so far. That's disappointing for Dalvin Cook owners. Try again, Todd. That's 1 strike.
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, that is the number 1 answer on the board. Having a stellar season, 106 points. He's got 593 rush yards, 7 rushing touchdowns, just 6 receptions. But boy, when he is running for the Cleveland Browns, he has been incredible. 2 answers off the board. Todd, give me another running back. We've got Chubb at number 1, Saquon at number 3.
Austin Eckler.
Austin Eckler, of course. I think he had all 98 points against me. Is that right, Miguel? 98? It definitely felt like it. Austin Eckler, number 2, 313 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, 31 receptions. So for 214 yards and 2 TDs. Good job, Todd. You just need 2 more running backs to win this round. Give me another one.
Leonard Fournette.
Leonard Fournette, great guess, but not in the top 5. He got a lot of his points this past week, but not enough to get into the top 5. He is 7th with 77 points, 26 receptions. 10 of those came just yesterday. So 2 strikes there for you, Todd. Give me another one. Try to stay alive here, my friend.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. He was after Fournette with 72 points. So now we go back to Miguel. He only needs to get 1 of the last 2. Who you got? Got a good guess out there, Miguel?
Since you said those guys are like in the 70s as far as points, I'm going to go with the guy that's had like 60 or somewhere close to that the last 2 weeks. I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs is correct. He is 4th. 84 points, 490 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, 17 receptions, and he was stellar last night for the Raiders against those Kansas City Chiefs. He pretty much was, well, he's a big reason. Obviously, Adams was great too, but Josh Jacobs was just running roughshod against them all game. And the 5th answer was Derrick Henry, who had 83 points, 408 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns, 10 catches for 121. So Mikey wins this 2nd round, and we'll go to the 3rd round here. Top 5 answers on the board. We'll just go right over to wide receivers. Who are the top 5 scoring wide receivers in our league?
Todd.
Todd, give me an answer.
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp is the number 1 answer on the board. 104 points, 49 receptions, 527 yards, and 4 TDs. Todd, you want to play or pass?
Play.
All right, good for you, Todd. Step up to the plate. I love it. So you got 1 off the board. Give me another one.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson, my boy. 3rd with 86 points, 40 receptions, 547 yards, and 2 TDs. And great guess there by Todd. Give me another one.
All right, let's go with, he's been good the last, but I'm going to go Mike Evans.
Mike Evans. Oof. Not in the top 5. He had a pretty bad, I won't say bad last week, but he had 0 points against Green Bay. He is really far down there. 26, what does he got? 25, 20, 19th with 53 points. He had that really big game on Sunday night, but
He was suspended a week.
there you go. That was
Oh,
one
yeah.
against Green Bay. So first strike there for Todd. Give me another guess, TD.
All right, let's go with Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams. Boy, he was pretty good last night, wasn't he? And he's 4th on the list. Well done, Todd Adams, 29 receptions, 414 yards, and 5 TDs, 2 long bomb receptions, and a big fine push of a camera operator yesterday, as we all saw. So I haven't seen the update on that, but I'm sure a fine is coming. All right, Todd, give me another wide receiver. You got 3 of the 5 so far.
Stefon Diggs.
Stefon Diggs, great guess. Number 2. 93 points for the Buffalo wide receiver, 39 receptions, 508 yards, and 5 TDs. Todd, you just need one more to win this round. What's your final guess? Well, no, you have 2 more strikes. You have a couple guesses.
It's probably off the board, but Michael Pittman Jr.
Oh my goodness.
Jr.
That is not a good guess,
Garbage.
Todd Diamond. In fact, he's not even in the top 25 in points scored. I have to go to the second page, and he is 26, 27, 28, 29th with 43 points. He had 21 in week 1. I think he was injured in week 2, 11 in week 3, then 4 and 7. So not a good guess. Strike number 2. Todd, one more chance to take this round 3.
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb. I'm sorry, Todd. That is incorrect. He's kind of a little down the ways here. Looks like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16th with 54 points. So we go over to Mikey. You have a guess? You have one guess. If you get this correct, you win MHA Trivia. If you don't, the point goes over to Todd, and then we go to another round.
Well, I have 3 guys that I'm thinking about. One of them's Amon-Ra St. Brown, but like he didn't play last week, so but he's been really good. I am gonna go with the guy I think has probably been the most consistent, and that's Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill had a 3-point week against Buffalo, but it's been pretty incredible the other 4 weeks, and that is the correct answer. Tyreek Hill, 75 points, 38 receptions, 524 yards, and 2 TDs. He's had a really good season despite the move over to Miami. So Mikey comes up with MHA Trivia. Well done, Miguel.
So my other 2 guys. So I'm just because I'm curious. I want to know, like, Amon-Ra St. Brown. My other guy that I was thinking about was Marquise Brown.
He's actually tied with Tyreek Hill with 75, but I just went with Tyreek Hill at number 5 since he was listed higher. But he's 75. Amon-Ra St. Brown was behind him at 62.
Nice.
So well done. All right, well, let's look at the recap from this past week. I don't want to relive this, but here we go. The matchup of the week came between the Lemonheads and the Hot Tamales. I don't want to say too much, but here we go. Lemonheads held a 67-point lead heading into the Monday night game. Yours truly with the lead, and also had a 16-point day by his kicker. But the combo of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, 98 points to send the Lemonheads to a 161-147 loss and a 2-3 record. The Tamales now stand alone on top of the league at 4-1 and a league high in points scored. Eckler was obviously incredible in this one. My guys did pretty well. I think Mikey, it was a 0 burger from Mr. I can't think of his name, Higgins, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Mikey's 3 guys, 3-headed monster, was pretty incredible, and I just didn't have enough to get through. Not upset with 147 points. Brady would have been nice if he had a touchdown or 2 more, considering how that game went. But such is the life. Well done, Miguel. Anything you want to say about that real quick?
It's the type of production that you expect out of your top 3 picks. Makes it very hard for other teams to deal with. So
yeah, this is true. Travis Kelce, it was just funny after a while to see another touchdown. But and for all the bitching Mikey was doing about Eckler early, I think they figured things out. He's had 30 or more points the last 2 weeks. So he's definitely earning his first round money and capital, draft capital, I guess, in that regard. Into the next matchup, perhaps the worst scoring output in league history. The defending champs, notorious CUP, They improved to 4-1 despite scoring just 80 points. They defeated the Butterfingers, who put up a paltry 67 points. Only 2 players scored in double figures for the 2 squads, and that was the 2 quarterbacks, and even then they weren't impressive. Russell Wilson, 29 points, Matt Stafford, 40 points, but not the most exciting matchup. Todd had a chance going into Monday night. I think he needed something like 18 or 19 points from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Kelsey, of course, got all the love. Anything quick you want to say about this, Todd? Is there anything to say? Except,
Well,
wah, wah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm gonna just let me bring up my analogy about what Travis Kelsey did to what he did to your team and what he took away from Edwards-Helaire. So we all know Rogue One, right? So remember that scene at the end when Darth Vader is on the ship and and you see him in the dark and the lightsaber just comes out and he's just he's just walking like he's just nothing and he's just throwing people left and right. Well, that's what he did to your team, and then what he did to my team was all those guards. Those were Clyde Edwards-Helaire, okay, and he was like, "Nope, you don't get a touchdown. You don't get a touchdown." So there's my analogy on that one. I wanted to throw that. I thought about that one when I was driving home from work. I'm like, that'd be a good analogy. Is that one on point, or am I way off?
Go ahead,
I
Mike.
thought it was Rogue One.
I said Rogue One.
I thought he said Rogue One. What do you think he said?
No, I said Rogue One.
Oh, Rogue One. Shut up. That was a good analogy, but that's a story for a different day. I think.
Okay.
That Rogue One thing was funny. I don't care what y'all say about, but that's a different story.
Okay, but was that a good analogy though?
It's solid. So you're saying Darth Vader's Kelsey, and he just ripped us a new one?
Yeah,
that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah,
all you could do is sit back and watch, and then be upset about it.
Exactly. It was just, and all those guards were, like I said, those the rebel people. Those were Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and they couldn't even they're like, no, you don't get a touchdown, you don't get a touchdown, and yeah. So I was like, I thought that's a good analogy. So thank you for at least listening to that one. I appreciate it.
I won't edit it out of the broadcast. How about that?
Thank you. I was like, at least at least Eric will like this one because Rogue One is your favorite Star Wars movie. So I was like, at least he'll appreciate this one.
As we continue here, in a much higher scoring game and a more tightly contested matchup, Gonzo Cats and Belt Sanders. It was Pollen's squad who came out with the 156-146 victory. The running back duo of Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall combined for a whopping 46 points. And to go along with a rebound performance from Jalen Hurts at 53 points, Josh Allen was once again great, piling up 62 points. But Damian Harris got hurt early. George Kittle continues to underachieve. He only had 5 points. The 3-game win streak by the Belt Sanders comes to an end. They fall to 3-2, while the Gonzo Cats improve to 3-2. Into the next matchup, 51 combined points from Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette would spur the win for Kilgore Trout, who defeats the Chad Powers fan club by 22 points, 20 for CMC, 32 points for the Bucks running back. That was just quite impressive. Belt Sanders, good days from Josh Allen and Justin Wilson Jr. High score in a game, 156-146, just favoring Gonzo Cats. That Cook and Hall duo was just incredible. 2 straight losses for Line Rip after a 3-0 start, falling to Cooper's Cousins 157-145. Every player in Dylan's squad scored 8 points or more, including 36 total points from his starting wide receivers of Cooper Kupp and Marquise Hollywood Brown. Not a bad day from Aaron's team, who was almost saved by Devontae Adams, who racked up 21 points on Monday night. But the hole was a tad too big. Cooper's Cousins now 2-3. The final matchup came between a couple of 1-3 squads who desperately needed a win. The NWA and Eaton W's battled to avoid a 1-4 start. Both highly drafted quarterbacks in Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert only scored 34 and 38 points, but it was the running backs who stole the show in this one. Eaton W's got a combined 68 points from Derrick Henry, recently acquired Nick Chubb, and 18 from rookie star Dameon Pierce. The NWA got 52 total points from Alvin Kamara, Miles Sanders, and Josh Jacobs, who made things interesting on Monday night. He had 27, but it wasn't enough. Eaton W's takes the win 132-125. Kevin's squad now 2-3. The NWA, who is third in the MHA in points scored and has seen the third most points scored against him. Incredibly unlucky for him so far. He now sits at 1-4. Anything you guys want to say about any of those matchups before we move on?
Yeah, Todd, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
That score is just nasty.
67.
I know. Well, again, I said you all heard me say it. I had to get off to a good start on Thursday night, because especially when it's your quarterback, those Thursday night games can be, those are kind of be, tricky games and trap games, because it's a short week and everything like that. But I knew I was like I had to get off to a good start, and obviously I had an opportunity to win, but still to win. But Thursday night pretty much dictated the rest of the how Sunday was going to go. So I honestly can blame myself, and it's what it is. So we move on.
We move on. Okay. Doe of the week. I only saw one candidate. Did you see only one candidate, Miguel?
There was two that I saw.
Okay. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe I saw two, but one was more realistic than the other. You tell me.
So I had Aaron and Todd. So Aaron, I had Montgomery over Corey Davis, and
That's what I had.
Todd, I had Jacoby Myers over Garrett Wilson. Well, I guess he couldn't have done that because he could have. Yeah. There's a 14-point difference there, which would have won the game.
If I would have played Myers, I would have won by 1 point.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Is it Myers over Garrett Wilson, or is it Dave Montgomery over Corey Davis? Ooh, that is a tough one.
And the Montgomery one would have tied the game.
That's true. That's right. I have that on here because it was a 12-point difference, and it would have tied the game. So in that case, it's Todd then.
Yeah,
even though won him the match.
Even though anything over Corey Davis, I almost want to go there. But yeah,
yeah, I was surprised to see him out there. But I mean, he's had a couple of double-digit weeks, so I guess I can see the reasoning there. But I think it's going to have to be Todd this week. Yeah. Todd even said it to us in a text message during the day.
Yep. So I'll wear the dough. I'll wear the dough of the week. I'll wear the dough of the week with pride. Dough.
It'll be a dough by James Earl Jones and Darth Vader voice. How about that?
Dough.
There you go.
All right. Let's talk about some stars from this past week.
The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
We'll start off with Todd. Who stood out to you? Who had really big days? There was a few names out there. Not anybody in your matchup, but
yeah,
in other matchups.
I'm definitely not putting any. I'm not definitely putting any stars on my team this week, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm gonna go with Bryce Hall. 22 points.
I think you mean Brees Hall.
Brees Hall, sorry. Bryce Hall. Brees Hall. I wasn't, be honest, obviously during the offseason, I wasn't really too high on him, but 22 points from him. So he's, proven it wrong. 197 yards from scrimmage, 18 yards for 97 yards and a touchdown. So, he's coming out the ball. I mean, we thought, was he going to, they're still kind of splitting a little bit of the carries between him and Michael Carter, but Brees Hall, 22 points, good on him. So that helped Paulin, get that victory.
Yeah, Hall's been incredibly consistent so far. Double digits in 4 to 5 games, 7 in that very first game of his career, 22 being his highest. And I didn't even realize the score, even though I watched a lot of these games. I didn't realize the Jets had 40 points scored in that game. And so he was a big part of that. And he's kind of been fun to watch. He had a nice run to like the 1 or the 2 or whatever, and just broke a ton of tackles. This guy might be legit. He's been pretty good. Mikey, give me a star of the weekend.
Yeah, but I want to give you 3 because
Boy, because I got to see all of them up close and personal.
Yeah, the 1, 2, 3 draft picks of Eckler, Kelsey, and Mahomes
A
combined
3-for-1 deal.
Yeah, they combined for 134 points and 10 touchdowns. That's,
Golly.
I mean, given what the rest of my team did, I mean, good, man. Man, that was a great drafting job by me, don't you think?
All right.
Yeah,
Don't you
that's all
think?
right. Yeah, it was.
We're tooting our horn quite a bit here, aren't we?
You should, right? First place, number 1 in points. Like, I mean,
yes, I'm proud of you. Way to go, Miguel. I
I'd
wish you were
take
sitting right next to me so I could pat you on the back.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take a bow, but nobody's going to see me do it. So,
Puke. Ugh.
Yes, they were incredible. Yes, they were. Amazing. Derrick Henry, I think he's figured things out. He had a couple of 8-point weeks at the beginning of the season, wondering if he was ever going to get all the way back. He's had 3 straight weeks of 20 or more points, 25 points, 20 attempts, 22 attempts, and 28 attempts the last 3 weeks. And, one thing that we said at the beginning of the season, I think Mikey said it was, Derrick Henry gets a touchdown per game. And that's where he's at right now, 5 games and 5 touchdowns. He's been just so incredible. And so that'll pick up the slack for whatever Michael Pittman's not working with. And I know you got a big goose egg from Conklin this week, but man, Derrick Henry, good. But I kind of knew that. He was one of the guys I was high on at the beginning of the year. Todd, do you want to give me another star?
Yeah, Leonard Fournette, 31 points, 56 yards and a touchdown, 10 catches. It obviously the way that Bucks offense has been, whether it's the injuries or inconsistencies, whatever, however you want to sugarcoat it, but Fournette's been great. At least 31 points this week, this past week, and then the week before 15. So kind of in the middle, but 31 points. Good on him.
Yeah, it was a lot of, last couple of weeks, it's been a lot of Tom Brady completions, and a lot of this has gone to Leonard Fournette. Mike Evans suffered a little bit this week because of it, but they were leaving Leonard Fournette wide open, and he's been a guy that's been able to pick up receptions. We've seen, a couple of seasons where he's had 70 or more, so 70 more receptions, and he's kind of on his way right now. Mikey, give me another great star from week 5.
So coming up big, after Damian Harris got hurt, but Ramondre Stevenson,
Yeah.
Big 18 points for Cooper's cousin to help him win, 161 rush yards. I think we've been waiting for, a year and a half for him to kind of have that breakout, and he's going to finally get his chance.
Yeah, I agree. He was the other guy that I had on my list as well. Ramondre Stevenson, and with Harris out for possibly a couple weeks, the ceiling could be huge for that guy. And so kind of excited to see what he's going to do next. I think I heard something, or I saw some on Twitter, that Ramondre Stevenson, I think he would have 167 yards rushing. Like, it was the 3rd highest in the Belichick era, which is crazy to think considering how long he's been coaching. But maybe, with their quarterback situation the way it is, they may be trying to run a little bit more. And with Harris out, it could be all volume for him in the next few weeks. All right, let's go over to the busts. Todd, give me a bust this week.
What, do you smell something?
Do I smell something? What am I, hard of smelling? Of course I smell something.
Can I say my whole team?
Maybe you pick one from your team. Let's not go. Let's not go crazy. I understand it was a bad week for you.
All right, we're gonna go. All right, and I'm still gonna stick with them, but Najee Harris has got to figure his shit out. This is getting ridiculous. Ridiculous. I understand they have a rookie quarterback, and it probably wasn't a good situation to put him in, his first start in Buffalo against Buffalo. But Najee Harris is like, they've got to get him the ball more. They have to force feed him the ball. It's the only way they're going to protect Pickett. It's the only way. And I get it. The offensive line is not great, but they have to find some ways. This is getting ridiculous. It's just it's yeah. Moving on.
I think the thing with Harris, and we said
Yeah.
this at the beginning of the season, he's not an efficient running back. He's not going to run for 4 yards a carry, 5 yards a carry. With the offense the way it is, the touchdowns are not going to be plentiful, if that's the right word. And they're probably not running him as much as they should. A couple weeks ago, he had 18 attempts and had 74 rush yards. But I think the thing that stands out is they're not throwing him the ball.
Yeah, see, and that's
as much as they were last year when he had over 74 receptions last year. He's got 13 in 5 games. That's got to change. And I agree. They have to get him the ball more, but when you have a rookie quarterback and the offensive line's not blocking and you don't have a leader like Big Ben to kind of orchestrate and, dump it in there at an efficient level, I mean, you have something to worry about. I mean, who is the backup running back over there? Like, he's getting a lot of run as well.
Yeah, and I saw it, and I wish I didn't see it, but I saw a tweet. I follow, it's called Fantasy Source. I follow, and it said that per source that Mike Tomlin said, that this backup running back is going to, his time and stuff and his carries are going to, may increase. I'm like, fuck, don't say that.
Well, Jalen Warren's the guy we're talking about.
Yeah,
he had 5
Warren,
attempts for 24 yards, and then he also had 4 receptions. Oh boy, Todd. Now, you said you're going to stick with him. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to try to shop him to get someone?
If
like, you kind of see the writing on the wall, and I guess when people listen to this broadcast, they may see the writing on the wall. He's still high draft capital. I mean, is there someone out there you'd be willing to trade him for?
It would have to be for another running back that maybe that's not like a top running back that they're willing to give up, or but maybe one kind of in the middle, like Clyde Edwards-Helaire situation. Like, I remember listening to a podcast. It was on ESPN, and they said, they said, well, you needed to try to sell high on Clyde Edwards-Helaire the last 2 weeks because we just don't know if he was going to keep it up, and obviously had a stinker on Monday night. But it would just depend. I don't think I'm trading him for. I'm trading him for another wide receiver. I think my wide receiver situation. I think I feel most comfortable with at this point, because obviously making the trade with you for Godwin. So it would have to at least be for maybe like another running back and something like that. But we'll see. I mean, they've got the Steelers have the Dolphins, I think, this week. I believe, if I'm reading that properly. No, they got Tampa. Excuse me. So,
and I think we were talking about this yesterday. His next schedule, like for the next month, is absolutely ridiculous, right? So you mentioned they got Tampa, at Miami, at Philly, by New Orleans, Cincinnati. That's a rough stretch.
Yeah.
So you might be able to sell him on name right now and where he was drafted. I just don't know what you would get for him. That's something you could talk about as we go along. Mikey, you want to give me a bust?
Yep, I'm going to go with Devin Singletary. This was one where I liked the matchup for him going in this week. And given the fact that they blew out Pittsburgh, you would have figured that he would have been a big part of like trying to run out the clock, picking up some rush yards. That didn't happen, and it kind of killed Aaron. Like he only had 5 points, 42 rushing yards, like only one catch. Like it's a very lackluster performance for him. Like disappointing, I would say.
It seems like the way the Bills have been utilizing their second halves when they're in a blowout is not running their starters,
Yeah.
at least in terms of running back. Like they're going to their backups running backs to run out the clock because they want to keep Singletary. At least my assumption is they want to keep him healthy for when the games that are or at least in the first half of games and then the playoffs. Because you're absolutely right. They didn't run him in the second half, and they didn't run him when they beat Tennessee when they were up big in that game as well. And then in a close game against Miami, he had 19. Close game against Baltimore, 8. But if they're in blowout mode, Singletary does not reap the benefits as a normal running back would, which is tough because he needed every single point he could get from Singletary. So I agree with you there. Gosh, I could talk about. There's a couple of guys I had on here. I hate to go back to Todd's team, but after 1 week of TJ Hawkinson, his 30 points a week ago, well, that's a plane crash, isn't it? To come all the way back to a mere 1 point. He goes from being the top scoring tight end to probably one of the worst. Not the worst. There were a couple of tight ends that had goose eggs, but the whole Lions offense pooped in their pants this past week. But that's a big. I mean, from Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I didn't even think played. I think he played. He just wasn't very effective. But not everybody was. No one was effective.
Yeah, Brown had 4 points.
So there you go. Hawkinson, 30 points to 1 point.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No, hey, I you shit on my team because I'm right there with you. I'm right next to you, shitting on him because again, talk about worst performance. I want to give it to my whole team. All of them, bunch of bums, all of them.
Mikey, no, Todd, give me another bust.
Okay, I'll go with James Conner. Only 6 points. He just has not been. I mean, week 1 he had 14, and then after that has been 5, 6, 9, 5, 6, 9, 6. Not what I mean, we knew he was going to kind of come down to earth. He wasn't going to have lead the league in touchdowns like he did last year, but yeah, not what you're. You thought at least he'd maybe come a little bit close to what he did last year. I mean, not totally, but just a smidge. But he's been disappointed. He's been disappointed.
Yeah, to say the least. He had 18 touchdowns in 15 games. He's got 1 touchdown in 5 games so far.
Yep.
Still running for the same amount of yards per carry.
Yep.
And he's still on pace to get about the same number of receptions. But it's the touchdowns. And you mentioned it. We talked about it. We knew he was going to have less than 18 touchdowns, but 1 through 5, not something any of us really, I guess, expected. Mikey, give me another bust.
I really want to go back to Todd's team, but I'll leave him be for now.
Mikey. Just keep shitting on my team because it's the only way I'm gonna learn. So please take.
No, I'm gonna leave it be. I'm gonna go with Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
38 points. Like not what you expect for what is one of the top quarterbacks in the game. And all things considered, I mean, the rest of NWA's team, other than like his tight end, his defense, they kind of crap the bed. But when your quarterback does that, I mean, it just doesn't give you a very good chance to win. And, it came, at the expense, everything that Austin Eckler did, that kind of hurt Herbert because it was Eckler running, not Eckler receiving. And yeah, I mean, those numbers, 228 yards for Herbert, that's pretty underwhelming.
I just mentioned a week ago, like his streak of 300-yard games in his first 3 seasons. And then it was something like 7 straight or 8 straight or something like that. And that came to a close.
Yeah.
They got the win, but Cleveland, not an easy matchup, I guess, in terms of just pass defense. But Yeah, both those quarterbacks in that matchup, though, not super great. But when when you lose by that short, 7 was the margin. I mean, 1 touchdown would have helped NWA, who's just had some bad luck so far in this season. And the last one I had on my list was the same team, Miami's defense, who had -3 against the Jets, allowing them to score 40 points, which seems a little ridiculous, but there you go. Anything else? Anything you guys want to talk about at all about anything in terms of fantasy before I reel off the schedule for next week? Anything stand out to you guys? Anything you want to talk about? Bad, good, ugly?
Well, I just want to know if Todd's going to continue to ride the Wilson Judy train. I mean, I guess he doesn't really have a choice.
Well, he's gonna get Godwin now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm keeping. I'm gonna run. I'm taking Garrett Wilson out, and I'm gonna put Godwin obviously instead. I'm gonna.
I don't know, Todd.
Again,
Is that
we
the right
talk
move?
about. I know. Again, I'm not gonna go on a rant. I'm just gonna say the Broncos have to figure this out. They have to figure it out. That's all I'm gonna say. They have to figure it out, and I think they will. And I'm gonna ride with Wilson and Judy going into, Monday night. And who knows? They've had a long couple days. Since Thursday night, and they're not playing till Monday. So maybe they've had time to think about what they've done and what they haven't done. So we'll just leave it at that.
Mikey, anything you want to mention about this week?
Yeah, I mean, you'll reel off the schedule, but hey, it's an
I know.
exciting. It's going to be an exciting week. A lot of there's some matchups between like teams that are very low in the league going against each other.
Correct.
And so there's going to be some teams in some deep trouble after this upcoming week.
Yeah, no doubt. The last thing I'll say before I get to that schedule is, man, Mr. Chad Powers fan club, they need Dak Prescott back because you can't be living your life on Matt Ryan's shoulders. I understand he had a 49-point week against Tennessee, but he looked terrible against Denver. Terrible. It was my first time actually seeing him this year, and it was not good at all. And I know he's waiting for Dak. That's his boy. That's his starting quarterback, but I don't know if there's a better matchup that he could roll with next week, but woof, stank. That's what I learned, right? At least from this past week. All right, let's talk about that week 6 schedule. Perhaps the matchup of the week comes from the 4-1 notorious CUP, the defending champs, taking on the Belt Sanders at 3-2. You could argue this is the match of the week, as both teams, as Mikey mentioned, 1-4, will have to look to a detrimental start. The NWA will take on the Chad Powers fan club, brought to you by Matt Ryan. And boy, if you go 1-5, I don't know if there's a playoff in your future. A better rivalry between housemates, 2-3 Lemonheads taking on 3-2 Lion Rip. 2-3 Butterfingers will look to get off the schneid against the top team in all the league in the Hot Tamales. In a fight between 3-2 teams, Kilgore Trout and Gonzo Cats will go toe-to-toe. And a couple of 2-3 squads will aim for that third win. Cooper's Cousins and Eaton W. So it seems like every matchup is intriguing this week.
Oh, it's sure is. But you know what?
So who would be favored? Todd's whole team against Patrick Mahomes, and I don't play anybody else.
Well, you could try it, but I think so Mikey will get it done. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, they got Buffalo, right? Is that what Kansas City has?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a little tougher.
Yeah.
It looks like it's in Kansas City, so that's helpful.
Yeah, but
why is that game not in prime time, by the way?
Yeah.
2:25. That's and I gotta sit there and try to watch what's the Thursday night matchup? Browns and who?
It's Commanders and Bears.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, garbage still.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
See, but we all
shit.
decide. But we all decided we're gonna
shit.
We're gonna watch. We all decided we're gonna watch the Yankees. Okay, that's better.
I don't know who decided that. That's Todd talking out of his ass right there.
I mean, that's probably gonna be more entertaining. It's probably gonna be more entertaining than Bears Commanders, right?
Well, if the Yankees are losing, absolutely.
Well, the Yankees aren't going to be losing. Well, No.
All right, last thing I'll say, we actually have bye weeks this week, folks. The Lions, the Raiders, the Texans, and the Titans. So no Amon-Ra St. Brown this week. No Devontae Adams, lucky for me. No Josh Jacobs. No Derrick Henry. No A.J. Brown.
Or T.J. Hawkinson. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the guy that scored 1 point this past week.
You know what?
Shut up. All right, gentlemen. Well, that was week 4. That was week 5. I was hit so hard by Travis Kelce. I don't know what week it is anymore. But
4 touchdowns, 1 game.
I saw that on Twitter, the Al Bundy stuff. That is hysterical, by the way. Twitter can be an awful place and a funny place at the same time. So that'll do it here for the MHA podcast. Mikey Renaud, Todd Diamond. I'm Eric Lansing. We'll see you next week for week 6 as we talk about what took place in that week. So we'll catch you again at the MHA podcast.